Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome to the intersection of faith and the culture. It's WallBuilders Live, and we are talking about the hot topics of the day from a biblical, historical, and constitutional perspective. We're here with David Barton, America's premier historian and our founder at WallBuilders. Tim Barton's a national speaker and pastor and president of WallBuilders. And my name is Rick Green. I'm a former Texas legislator and America's Constitution coach. We're glad you're with us. Be sure and visit our website as well, wallbuilderslive.com, where you can get archives of the program. You can make a donation to come alongside us and support us. And there's also a lot of other great information on the website as well, wallbuilderslive.com. David and Tim, later in the program, our good friend Chad Robichaux will be back with us. Of course, Mighty Oaks Warriors program. Want to encourage people to visit that website today. Donate to those guys. They do incredible work at really ministering to our warriors when they come home, saving marriages, preventing suicides. It's an incredible, incredible organization. But Chad is also a great advocate for our warriors. And today we're going to talk about, and he's going to be an advocate for warriors who came alongside us in Afghanistan.
Yeah, and that's an important thing because going into Afghanistan, that was with a lot of fear and trepidation. There have not been many foreign nations that have gone into Afghanistan and been able to get out in one piece. I mean, just before us was Russia, and Russia never defeated the Afghanis. They just withdrew because they were just getting creamed by the guys. They didn't know how to fight in that region of the world. They didn't have the right language, folks. They just didn't have the philosophy. So when we decided to move from Iraq over to Afghanistan, man, it was with a lot of fear and trepidation because nobody gets out of Afghanistan. It becomes a bog hole you don't get out of. And fortunately for America, there were so many of those who lived in Afghanistan that wanted to be free of the Taliban, that did not want the kind of turmoil they brought, that they sided the Americans. They became translators and helpers. They became intelligence assets. They did so much to help America do the right thing.
Yeah, guys, we're talking about nearly 80,000 individuals from the Afghanis who are working with U.S. troops. And that is a massive number. Because when you think about how many American troops were over there, that is 80,000 is a significant force in and of itself. And they were very important allies to America. As Dad, you mentioned, helping us know the region, helping us understand part of the enemy we were facing. And there were many times that Americans, as an individual, would be going into an Afghan group to helping train the Afghans. And they'd be embedded with the Afghans. And so there's so much connection, and really can go through many different special force members that we know and many different soldiers we know who worked very closely with some of these Afghani people, and they speak so highly of them. And moments when the Afghani people actually saved their life and helped fight and defend them. And these were people who are very important allies, and now we're at a place where, first of all, the Biden administration is saying we're going to pull troops, we're going to withdraw from the Middle East. You have people like George Bush, President Bush, who was there, the guy initially sending our troops over there. He's looking going, man, this is a mistake. That this is not a good decision, on top of the fact when you are officially announcing a withdrawal date, you're telling them exactly when they can have the land back. There's just so many mistakes it would seem that President Biden is making and that his team is making in the midst of this withdrawal, what they're doing. But one of the greatest mistakes is they're abandoning the allies that were so vital to saving American lives. And guys, we're talking about a time when we've never had more people illegally coming across the southern border. And in the midst of all of these illegal crossings, you have the current presidential administration that, even though we're having hundreds of thousands of people come across on essentially a monthly basis, and those are the people that we know about, not even the people that aren't known. And there are estimates that there are 4 or 5 times as many unknown people coming across the border as the knowns that are being captured. So you're talking about millions upon millions of people this year that will come across the southern border. And right now, the Biden administration, the Biden White House, is not stepping up saying, hey, these 80,000, right, approximate 80,000 Afghani allies that we have, we're going to bring them to America. We're going to keep them safe. This is atrocious that we are going to abandon our friends.
While we let 200,000 a month come across the border that we don't have any idea whether they're good or bad.
Exactly right. These are people that we know on some level because they work to help defend American lives. I mean, guys, it's so crazy. And as you mentioned, Dad, Chad is somebody who does so much to help with the military in general. There's a lot to help with veterans. He does military readiness now for the Marines. He's on the Marine bases every single year, several times a year, talking to the new soldiers, these new Marines that are coming in to join the military, and actually as they finish their basic trainings, their boot camps, the different things they're doing. Chad is very involved in this, but one of the things that Chad is very outspoken about now is looking back and seeing these Afghan allies we have saying, we need to do something. We need to help these guys. America needs to do the right thing and stand up and help defend them, because at this point, there's already videos being released of Taliban coming in and literally murdering, just lining these guys up, capturing some of these soldiers, lining them up, and just executing them. And this is where America has to do the right thing and get involved.
And this is such a weird time to be kind of closing the borders down to these guys. These guys have already been vetted. There's no way you work with special forces and work with Army and military guys without having been vetted. And so these were our allies. These were guys that we knew. We checked their background. We knew they were strong. You can't afford to have someone among you who you don't know who might end up killing everyone in the unit. So these are guys who have been checked out. And it's significant, too, that, I mean, Tim, as you were mentioning how the Taliban is already lining some of these guys up and taking them, we know that Taliban is already taking major provinces, major parts of Afghanistan. And we have the intelligence that says that right now, for example, in Iraq, we chased ISIS out of Iraq. There's no longer a caliphate there. Yeah, since we chased it out, there are now more ISIS fighters in Iraq than at the time we chased the caliphate out. They're coming back in droves and droves. We're pulling out. We're just turning it back over to the same instability that's been there, and that becomes the same cesspool from which mosquitoes attack the United States, so to speak. I mean, they'll end up being over here doing things to us again, just as they have for all these previous decades. So it really doesn't make sense to just completely walk away, turn our back on everyone there, on all the things going on, not try to help those who helped us. This is a time where we're going to ask you to really weigh in with the White House. The White House is getting a lot of pressure now. Even Democrats are pushing on the White House, but they need to hear from the American people that we need to do the right thing. We need to bring these guys to safety. They helped us. They saved countless American lives. These are the kind of folks that have already proven themselves to love America. I mean, that's who you want here. So call the White House, email the White House, whatever, but make that contact. They need to have a lot of pressure right now. Chad will tell us more about it, but just already, I mean, this is a really important issue for us right now.
Chad does so many different things, and we're thrilled to be able to get some time with him. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to WallBuilders Live.
Hey guys, we want to let you know about a new resource we have here at WallBuilders called The American Story. For years, people have been asking us to do a history book, and we've finally done it. We start with Christopher Columbus and go roughly through Abraham Lincoln, and one of the things that so often we hear today are about the imperfections of America, or how so many people in America that used to be celebrated or honored really aren't good or honorable people. One of the things we acknowledge quickly in the book is that the entire world is full of people who are sinful and need a Savior, because the Bible even tells us that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And yet what we see through history, and certainly is evident in America, is how a perfect God uses imperfect people and does great things through them. The story of America is not the story of perfect people, but you see time and time again how God got involved in the process and used these imperfect people to do great things that impacted the entire world from America. To find out more, go to wallbuilders.com and check out The American Story.
Welcome back to WallBuilders Live. Thanks for staying with us today. Our good friend Chad Robichaux is back with us from Mighty Oaks Warriors. And by the way, got a great event coming up in Texas in October. Chad, before we get into our very serious topic for the day, not that the dinner's not serious, because you guys are saving lives and saving marriages. It's hugely serious, but it's also really fun. Tell us about the dinner in the fall, and then we'll get to our topic for the day.
Yeah, October 16th in the Woodlands, Texas, we're having our annual gala. This is the 11th annual gala. This is the one time a year where we kind of hit the brakes on all our operations. It's a big fundraiser of the year. We celebrate, what we've done, and then we look, cast vision forward to what we're going to do with all our supporters. And we try to raise a bunch of money to scholarship these warriors to come to our programs. For the last 10 years, we run programs absolutely free for active duty service members, veterans, spouses, first responders. And we do about a little over $3.5 million a year of programming for these guys and cover everything, including travel. So it's where we raise most of the money to do that. And this year we have Steve Green, the president of Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
And the founder of the Bible Museum. He's going to be a guest speaker and amazing man. We got to know him this year. And I'm super excited that he's going to be there with me for the, all of us for the event.
Love it, love it. And just to give, if any of our new viewers are not familiar Y'all have had, 4,000 program graduates, 150,000 resiliency event attendees. You do about 72 events a year for these guys. Y'all are having a massive impact. You're reaching tons and tons of people.
We're doing our programs, at 5 different ranches now around the country. 5 states, so really 6 ranches. Two of those ranches are here in Texas that we're doing the programs at. In fact, we're graduating a program today. There's Warriors in Junction, Texas, graduating a program, and it's incredible. If you want to get tickets, though, MightyOaksPrograms.org/TX Gala is where you get tickets, and then MightyOaksPrograms.org is our website.
All right, MightyOaksPrograms.org, and the tickets are still available. Not sold out yet. You guys typically do, so encourage folks. And if you can't come to Texas and go to the dinner, you can at least go online and sponsor the dinner. Great time to make a donation. Like Chad said, this is the big one every year that really helps fund operations throughout the year. And, man, they've had so many great speakers and folks in the past. So become a part of this, folks. Go to the website today, MightyOaksPrograms.org. Chad, let's get into it, man. So you were talking about the fact that, now we're basically repeating history where we're leaving behind a lot of the guys that helped guys like you that were there on special operations, and we're just abandoning them.
It's a ugly part of our history as Americans. Obviously I love our country. I hate any time I have to say anything bad about our country, but it's one thing we have not done well as American military forces when we go in and fight these wars in foreign lands for the people abroad that we're defending and for our own national interests. We have a history of leaving behind those who fought alongside of our troops. We did it in Vietnam. I'm sure we've done it in other eras. We did it in the Gulf War. We did it in Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom when we left Al-Assad Air Force Base and just, left our gear there and left our allies there. And now, this administration has just announced that we're going to leave Afghanistan in September. They gave a date, which is a terrible thing to do, to give a date. But they gave a date that we're going to leave on, September 11th. And the problem that we have here is that over the last 20 years, we've had 80,000 Afghans who have partnered with U.S. forces and served alongside of us, fought alongside of us for the last 20 years, 80,000 of them. And right now, the administration, which, by the way, is a pro-immigration administration, not being petty here, but, they are championing the pro-immigration administration, they have only allowed for a total of 26,500 special immigrant visas for Afghans who served with us. So 26,000, what is 80,000 of them, is a huge deficit. And what's happening right now, as U.S. forces are starting to draw back and leave, and the word's out there to leaving, the Taliban has already overtaken 30 provinces. The people are panicking. They're starting to rat each other out. Their own family members rat each other out because they're getting so desperate. And they think, if I tell on my brother, if I tell on my cousin, then the Taliban's going to favor me because I have to survive now. And that's already taking place. These people will not just be killed. They will be tortured. Just to not sugarcoat it, their wives will be raped and tortured in front of them. Their children will be killed in front of them long before they're killed. The Taliban does this in such a horrific way to make an example so that they don't ever betray the Taliban again. And that's what's going to happen in September if this administration doesn't extend the courtesy of giving more special visas to these Afghans that fought alongside of us. And these are, look, I was there for 8 deployments, 4 years. I know people right now because I'm in communication with them, Afghans that fought alongside me, and I know a few in particular that literally saved my life. I would not be in this phone call with you right now. I would be a dead man rotting on the side of a mountain in Afghanistan somewhere if it wasn't for these individuals that saved my life and saved my friend's life multiple times. And they're there right now, cannot get these visas, particularly the ones that were in special operations because, they're in classified programs, so they can't.
Right.
And they're there right now. One of my buddies who's there, he's trying to get back, and his family's already ratted him out. So him and his wife and his kids, he's like, we're going to be killed. We can't get out of here.
And that's going to happen because of the fact that they came alongside you guys, because they helped the United States.
Absolutely. That's what they wanted. They believed that when we went there, we, just like we told the Afghan people that we were going to liberate them from Taliban rule. And these are patriots that love their country just like we love our country. And they believed in why we went there to eradicate the Taliban from Afghanistan. They believed in it. They believed in us. They fought alongside of us for the last 20 years. And most of them that have done it, that's been they didn't do it for like, I'm going to go on a deployment like we do. They've done it for the last 20 years. Most of them have done it for the last 20 years. Fought with. And so you're not just talking about their livelihood being taken from them because that's been their job.
Yeah.
But their dreams of fighting back for their country, their sense of patriotism, that's being taken away. And now their safety is not just themselves, but their wives and children is going to be taken away because the Taliban will make an example of them to never do that again for fighting with the Americans. And they're going to kill them.
This is a part of what happens that most of us are, if we hadn't served and we hadn't been over there, we have no clue. I think the only way I became familiar with this was reading Luttrell's book, Marcus Luttrell's book, Lone Survivor, and he talks about the family that saved him. Same thing, he wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for them, and they stuck their neck out in a big way. You lived it through all those deployments multiple times. What is the right policy? Like how far should we go? I'm assuming there's a vetting process or some way, for people that are saying, well, we can't just let in everybody because, how do you know if they're actually the ones that helped us and the ones that didn't? Aren't we able to verify that even if it was a special ops mission? Shouldn't the military be able to confirm this is someone that was a friendly to us for all those years?
Well, the problem isn't the vetting process. The vetting process is already in place. I mean, the 26,000 that are being allowed over, they have the vetting process in place to make sure that they're actually, who they say they are. They provided the service that they said that they have, and they don't have the terroristic ties or anything like that, and they, qualify to come over to be, in the process to eventually become Americans and be, immigrate legally. So the process is in place. It's the number that's the problem.
So while they're letting hundreds of thousands every month come in illegally, they've got a problem, this administration meaning, they've got a problem with allowing these tens of thousands coming in legally that we know who they are. We're vetting them, and they put their lives on the line for us.
For us, yeah. I mean, these guys have been, look, people probably have a hard time understanding if they hadn't been in Afghanistan, but U.S. troops would not have been as successful as they were in Afghanistan without the alliance of the Afghan people. Osama bin Laden knew this. If people don't know, look at the history of it. Osama bin Laden knew the importance of Americans having an alliance with the Afghans. That's why he assassinated Ahmad Massoud the day before 9/11. He sent in people to pose as journalists, killed Massoud, the leader of the Northern Alliance, because he knew the Americans would need Massoud and the Northern Alliance, Mujahideen, to be able to fight the Afghans. So he took out their leader to fracture the Northern Alliance. So we wouldn't have the allies. Bin Laden knew that, and so he was right. We needed them, and many of them have came alongside of us and served alongside of us. We would not have had the success we've had. We would have had so many more casualties of American troops without them. We owe it to these guys. I believe in the vetting process, and I think the vetting process should take place, but it's not an issue because it already does exist.
Yeah.
And if we're allowing thousands of illegal people come across the border, then why not allow, we're allowing hundreds of thousands to come illegally across the border. Why not allow tens of thousands of the people who served us for the last 10 years come in?
The kind of people you'd want, right? I mean,
the kind of people you'd want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these people, and I'll tell you, they love America. I mean, in their obviously the type of people who are willing to assimilate because they learned our language to be able to serve alongside of us.
Yeah,
they have a heart for America because they served with us. That's what the vetting process is all about. But up the numbers, the president, President Biden could simply sign executive order, or he could have this number moved from 26,000 to 80,000 with a stroke of a pen, and be the pro-immigration administration that they claim to be.
Yeah.
But it's not as popular, right? It's not. But it's not as popular, and it's not what the mainstream media wants to see. They don't even want to talk about this issue, but it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, I've heard none of this being reported, Chad, so thank you for bringing it to our attention. Obviously, we want to encourage people to spread the news and let people know. Send the communication to the White House asking them to do this. And I'm assuming, Chad, a lot of military guys like yourself that were there, that experienced this, are doing that.
They are, yeah. The military right now, I'm hearing it because obviously I'm immersed in the military community. I know guys that are, and I won't go into details of that, but I know guys that I served with from the special operations community. They're trying to figure out how to get their guys out. Because they're guys that, these are guys that people like me feel like I owe my life to. Like my wife has a husband at home because of some of these guys.
Yeah.
My children have a dad because of some of these guys. And so I feel like there's some of them that I owe my life to, and there's others that feel that way, and some of us that we feel like we owe our lives to these guys are trying to find ways to get them safe.
Yeah.
Legal ways to get them safe. Obviously we're not smuggling people into our country or anything like that, but we want to get them out of there. And but the best way to do it is for us to talk to congressmen and push the administration to do the right thing. This issue right now, to me, isn't a bipartisan issue at all. I believe this is a humanitarian issue. I believe everyone on both sides of the aisle should be, stomping up and down to do the right thing on this. It's the humane thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And, I think our country has a chance right now to do it better. We learned our lesson. We did it to the South Vietnamese when we left Vietnam. We left South Vietnamese there who helped us to succumb to the iron fist of the North Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And we did it in Iraq, and here we are going to do it again. And we have a chance to, to learn those lessons of history. We have a chance to do the right thing.
Amen. That's good. That's good. Chad Robichaux, man, God bless you, brother. Keep up the great work. Make sure folks know about the dinner coming up in the fall, and even outside of that dinner, just on a regular basis. Support these guys, MightyOaksPrograms.org. So many of our warriors that need this help, and Chad has a winning formula, a biblical formula that has absolutely changed thousands of lives in a very, very positive way. So check out that website today. Chad, thanks so much, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for bringing this to our attention.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
I very much appreciate Chad Robichaux and all that they do at Mighty Oaks Warriors Program. David and Tim, we've had him on a lot. You could hear it in his voice. This is breaking his heart and causing some righteous anger, rightfully so, to well up. And this interview, he's basically saying, look, we did all of that time. These people put their lives on the line, and they're going to die as a result of supporting the United States.
Yeah, and as he pointed out, the only reason he's still alive in some of these scenarios he was in was because of the people, of his friends that were over there that literally saved his life. And so this is the next level for him, because this is not just some kind of hyperbole of we need to save people and it's important. Nope, these are people he knows. These are his friends, people that literally fought and bled beside him, people that they would have seen people die all around them in the midst of this. And this is something that right now you're already seeing some talk from the Biden administration. There's some news reports out there that Biden has said, hey, we're going to do what we can, and we're going to try to help get more people in. But right now it's mostly rhetoric, because they've not increased the number of people they said they could come. The number is nowhere near even like 25% of these Afghanis who really need help. And so instead of saying, hey, 80,000, right, approximately 80,000, no big deal. You guys apply, right? And if there was a concern that maybe some of these guys that are applying are not the real guys, which, first of all, I don't know how there would be a concern with these people coming in when there's not really a concern with who's coming across the southern border. That seems super inconsistent and hypocritical. But if there was a concern, you certainly can have these guys vetted, right? You can go to some of the troops that were embedded with them. You can do basic follow-up on this to make good on this. But right now, the Biden administration is not standing up and helping these people. And guys, I know that this is not really a time about the Biden administration, but we've seen this with the people of Cuba that are dealing with the communist nation there. And really the Biden administration at this point has taken more of the side of Cuba than the people who are being oppressed by the communist regime. Biden at this point has just seemed to take all the wrong sides in this scenario with stuff unfolding. It's one of the things that we've heard other people say, that for the last many decades, Biden has not made a good foreign policy decision. And I'm a little nervous that if we don't get people involved and we don't get enough pressure on him, that this will be another bad decision that will cost a lot of lives.
So here's the way you can get involved. One is you can directly let the White House know they need to step up and do something. They need to get those numbers up, and they need to do it really fast, because executions are already started. So here's the White House line for comments. Call 202-456-1111. Again, 202-456-1111. We'll have that up on the website so you can go there and see the number. But at the same time, both parties are leaning on the president to do something. Even Democrat Senator Patrick Leahy is all over the president to get those guys out of there before they all get executed. So call your senators as well and tell them we've got to get these guys out of there. So the phone number for all the senators is 202-224-3121. When the operator answers, just say, I want the senator from Texas or the senator from Mississippi or wherever it is, and they'll connect you. So senators 202-224-3121, and the White House is 202-456-1111. Make the calls. We need to protect these guys. If we ever have to go back into Afghanistan again, you will not have a single ally help if we can't protect those who stand by us.
And other countries are watching as well, other places that we would have to go. And, Tim, you nailed it. I mean, it's every decision. It's the opposite of what we were saying just 4 years ago and 3 years ago and 2 years ago. You remember, guys, how many times we said, wow, the moral clarity I did not expect from Donald Trump, the decisions about who to support and what to do on foreign policy. We were just shocked over and over and over again. The opposite is happening now. It's the opposite of moral clarity, choosing all the wrong people to support and not supporting the right people. And that's that lack of lack of wisdom would be the nice way to put it. But it's a spiritual thing as well, and it's going to cost a lot of lives. So let's try to mitigate this as best we can. Make those calls. We'll have them today at our website at WallBuildersLive.com. Thanks for listening. You've been listening to WallBuilders Live.
We stand undivided forever.